Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell, dramatised in 9 episodes by Barry Campbell, with Kathryn Hurlbutt, Angela Pleasance, Tom Wilkinson, Robert Lang, Anne-Louise Lambert and Thelma Whiteley. Part 9, Reviving Hopes and Brightening Prospects.
Osborne Hamley was dead, and Molly Gibson had hurried to the hall in order to comfort Squire Hamley. She found him lying across his son's corpse and weeping in such a terrible manner that Molly trembled lest he also should die, should break his heart there and then. He took no more notice of Molly's words, of her tears, of her presence than he did of that of the moon looking through the unclosed window with passionless stare. Mr. Gibson stood by them both before either of them was aware of it.
Oh, Osborne, my boy, my boy, my poor boy.
Go downstairs, Molly. Go into the dining room. I've told Robinson to make sure you're to eat and drink something. I will join you shortly.
Yes, Papa.
It seemed to Molly a very long time before her father came down. He went and stood with his back to the empty fireplace and did not speak for a minute or two.
He's gone to bed. But just as I was leaving, he called me back and asked me to let you stop. I'm sure I don't know.
I wish to stay, Papa.
Do you? But how will you manage?
I can manage, Papa. What did Osborne die of?
Something wrong with the heart. You wouldn't understand if I told you. I apprehended it for some time, but it's better not to talk of such things at home. When I saw him on Thursday week, he seemed better than I've seen him for a long time. Poor boy. But no one can ever calculate in these complaints. But we must keep our attention on the duties in hand now. You sleep here for the remainder of the night, which is more than half gone already.
Papa, I think I ought to tell you something. I know a great secret of Osborne's which I promised not to tell. But the last time I saw him, I think he must have been afraid of something like this. Osborne was married.
Nonsense. What makes you think so?
He told me. That is to say, I was in the library some time ago, and Roger came and spoke to Osborne about his wife. Then when you went up to London to see Lady Cumnor, he called and gave me his wife's address, still under promise of secrecy.
Where is this wife of his?
Near Winchester. He said she was a French woman and a Roman Catholic. And I think he said she had been a servant. Mm-hmm. And he spoke of a child. I have the address written down at home.
Well, nothing can be done tonight. But first thing tomorrow, you and I must tell the squire the truth.
You wanted to see me, I hear, Gibson.
Yes, you see, Squire,
I'm brought very low, sir. I suppose it's God's doing, but it comes hard on me. He was my firstborn child.
Squire Hamley, I'm very sorry.
Oh, Molly, I beg your pardon. I did not see you at first. My mind is a good deal occupied just now.
You'll be glad to have Roger home as soon as maybe, I think, sir. I'm sure he'll return as speedily as possible when he hears the sad news.
Roger isn't Osborne?
No.
I don't try to say God's will be done, sir. But it's harder to be resigned than happy people think. He was my first child, and yet, of late years, we weren't quite as good friends as could be wished, and I'm not sure that he knew how I loved him.
No, it is better, sir. When he's a little calmer, don't be afraid to tell him all you know.
Squire Hamley, I have to tell you...
Molly, my dear, what is it?
Some time past, when I was in the library, I overheard Roger and Osborne speak of Osborne's wife. I did not mean to...
Osborne's wife?
I only told Papa last night.
Go on.
Then, the other day Osborne called. He wanted to see Papa. And he spoke to me of his wife and gave me her address.
Tell me everything.
He said she was a good woman. But she was French Catholic and
Well?
had once been a servant.
Well, it's all over now. All past and gone. We'll not blame him. But I wish he had told me. Married so long. Oh, Osborne, you should have told me.
Yes, he should. But I dare say he knew how much you would dislike such a choice as he had made.
You know nothing about it, sir. I won't have people interfering and judging between me and my sons. And Roger, too, he kept it from me.
He was bound to secrecy. He could not help himself.
Osborne was such a fellow for persuading people and winning them over. I remember. Oh, what's the use of remembering? Osborne's dead. Without opening his heart to me.
But we can guess what wish he had strongest in his mind at the last.
What, sir?
Why, his wife must have been his last thought, must she not?
How do I know she was his wife? Do you think he'd go and marry a French baggage of a servant? It may all be a tale.
Oh, stop, Squire. I don't care to defend my daughter's truth or accuracy, but with the dead man's body lying upstairs, think twice before you say more hasty words.
I beg your pardon. I hardly know what I'm saying. Oh, Osborne.
Well, to return to his wife.
And child.
What? A child? Is there a child? And I never knew. God bless Osborne's child. Oh, Molly, you are a good girl. Thank you. A child. Osborne's child. One Osborne Hamley lies dead on his bed, and t'other I've never seen and never heard on till today. He must be called Osborne, Molly, and we'll have him here and get a nurse for him and make his mother comfortable for life in her own country, and another Osborne Hamley. And if God will give me grace, he shall never hear a cross word from me. Never. He shan't be afeard of me. Oh, my Osborne. Do you know how bitter and sore is my heart for every hard word I ever spoke to you? Do you know how I loved you, my boy? My boy. Tell me, Gibson, what ought I to do?
I fully believe the story, but I think there must be some written confirmation of it somewhere. Will you look over Osborne's papers? Molly shall return with me and find the address Osborne gave to her.
She'll come back again?
Oh, she'll come back again this evening.
Very well. I shall send a carriage. Well. Give my love to Miss Kirkpatrick. Tell her I look upon her as quite one of the family. I shall be glad to see her after the funeral.
Squire Hamley knows nothing yet of Cynthia's resolution to give up Roger. I had a long talk with her last night, and she was as resolute as ever. She's written to the squire. He can't have opened the letter, and she's quite determined that rather than marry Roger, she'll seek a position as a governess in Russia, of all places. And now, from what your mamma tells me, there's a third lover in London whom she's already refused. Oh, I'm thankful you've no lover at all, Molly, unless, after that abortive attempt of Mr. Cox's long ago, he can be called a lover.
I've never heard of it, Papa.
Oh, no. I forgot what a fool I was. Why, don't you remember the hurry I was in to get you off to Hamley Hall the first time you ever went?
Yes.
Well, it was all because I got hold of a desperate love letter from Mr. Cox addressed to you.
Oh, really?
Someone must write to Mrs. Osborne Hamley. Shall you do it, or shall I?
Oh, you please, Papa.
Well, I will if you wish, but she may have heard of you as a friend of her dead husband, while of me...
If I ought, I will do it. Oh, there's Hollingford spire. I think I never wish to go out of sight of it again.
Nonsense. Why, you've all your travelling to do yet. And if these newfangled railways spread, as they say they will, we shall all be spinning about the world. Sitting on tea kettles, as Phoebe Browning calls it. Oh, Miss Browning wrote such a capital letter of advice to Miss Hornblower. I heard of it at the Miller's. Miss Hornblower was going to travel by railroad for the first time, and Miss Browning was very anxious and sent her directions for her conduct. One piece of advice was not to sit on the boiler. There, that's better. And here we are, home at last.
To think of it all being so sudden and so provoking, just when Cynthia had given up Roger. What does the squire say about it, Cynthia's breaking with Roger?
He is beaten down with grief, Mamma. He does not know about it. He has obviously not yet opened the letter.
Well, now, that I call positive disrespect.
He did not mean it for such.
And when does the squire expect Roger?
Well, I don't know. He only thinks of Osborne. He appears to have forgotten everyone else. Perhaps the news of Osborne's wife and child may rouse him up.
Married? Osborne? And with a child?
Yes. Osborne has been married for a long time, but the squire did not know of it till this morning.
And who is this lady?
She's French.
French? Oh, they are such beguiling women. Is the child a boy or a girl?
I did not ask.
Molly, is that you? And she brings such news, too. Cynthia, I'm really most glad you wrote to the squire yesterday, for if you had waited till today, he might have thought you had some interested reason for giving up your engagement. Osborne Hamley was married and has got a child, too.
Osborne?
Married? Yes, it was a great piece of deceit. And now, of course, this child, if it is a son, will be the heir, and Roger will be as poorly off as ever. I hope you'll let the squire know Cynthia was quite ignorant of the facts. I should not like the suspicion of worldliness to rest upon anyone with whom I had any concern.
When Molly returned to Hamley Hall, she found the squire standing in the middle of the drawing-room awaiting her. He held a paper in his hands which were trembling with excitement and emotion, and 4 or 5 opened letters were strewed on a table near him.
It's all true. She's his wife. Poor lad. Read this, my dear. It's a certificate. It's all regular, witnessed and all. Oh, dear. And here, see this. A certificate of baptism. The baptism of Roger Stephen Osborne Hamley. Child of Osborne Hamley and Mary Amy, his wife. Roger, that's me. Stephen, that's my poor old father. It's good of the lad to have thought of my father. And Osborne Hamley. He must be called Osborne, Molly. And he shall never hear a cross word from me. Never.
She must be told.
Yes, she must. But how?
Suppose you write and say he's very ill. You can say how you came to know all you do about it. Say he's very ill and in great danger, if you like, and then you can follow it up the next day with the full truth. Now, I wouldn't worry the squire about it. After the funeral, we can have a talk about the child. So, it is a boy, after all. Mrs. Gibson told me particularly to ask. It will go far to reconciling her to Cynthia's dismissal of Roger. Poor Roger. But they were not suited to each other. Now, write that letter, Molly, to the poor little Frenchwoman.
Oh, Osborne.
Oh, Squire. Oh, goodness.
Bless me. What's that? I hope there's nothing wrong. Not Roger.
One moment, please. Sir, there's a woman with a baby, and she...
Well,
Où se trouve Osborne?
Oh, it's Mrs. Osborne Hamley. My dear.
Oh, mon mari. Mon mari.
poor thing. Help me, Molly. She is but young, and she must have loved him
Oh,
dearly.
to be sure. Robinson, fetch some water, and then we must get her to bed.
How is she now, Molly?
She is lying very still, but she will neither speak nor eat. I don't think she has even cried.
If you'll pardon me, Squire, the boots at the Hamley Arms says the coach she came by started at 5 this morning from London.
She'll be tired out. We must let her rest. Thank you, Robinson.
Squire.
She's not like a Frenchwoman, is she, Molly?
I don't know. I don't know what French women are like. People say Cynthia is French.
And she didn't look like a servant. We won't speak of Cynthia, since she's served my Roger so. I've had a letter from her, you know. I never wanted her for a daughter-in-law, but it's all over now. This poor thing looks like a gentlewoman, I think. We'll do our best for her. We'll not think of letting her go away until she's fit to travel. Ah, Gibson?
Robinson tells me you've got Mrs. Osborne Hamley here. It's a sad coming home to her, for of course she knew nothing of his death.
Yes, she felt it a terrible shock. I should like you to see her, if she'll let you. We must do our duty by her, for my poor lad's sake.
Papa, I feel as if she was very ill. Will you go and see her at once?
Yes, most certainly, my dear. She's sleeping now. Where's Squire Hamley?
He's sitting in the library with his head in his hands, refusing to go to bed.
Well now, Molly, I must insist that you go to bed.
Oh, but Papa, I cannot.
You'll have enough to do to occupy all your strength for days to come. And go to bed you must now. Oh, did I tell you Cynthia is going off in hot haste to her Uncle Kirkpatrick's? I suspect a visit to him will stand in lieu of going out to Russia as a governess.
I'm sure she was quite serious in wishing for that.
Yes, I've no doubt she thought she was sincere in intending to go. But the great thing was to get out of the unpleasantness of the present time and place. And Uncle Kirkpatrick's will do this as effectually and more pleasantly than a situation at Nizhny Novgorod in an ice palace. Well now, Goosey, off you go to bed.
After this, long days passed over in a monotonous round of care. For no one seemed to think of Molly's leaving Hamley Hall during the woeful illness that befell Mrs. Osborne Hamley. Molly was anxious to do all she could for others, but one day, after Mrs. Osborne Hamley had taken the turn, as the nurses called it, Molly answered to her father's sudden questioning that she felt unaccountably weary, and he decided to get her back to Hollingford at once.
Why, my sweet Molly, this is an unexpected pleasure. Only this morning I said to Papa, when do you think we shall see our Molly back? He did not say much. He never does, you know. But I am sure he thought directly of giving me this surprise, this pleasure. You're looking a little, what shall I
You'd better
call
let her
it?
go to her own room and have a good rest as soon as possible.
Very well. Molly, come with me directly. She is resting now.
She will need much care. She's been overworked, and I've been a fool, and that's all. We must keep her from all worry and care.
Poor thing. She does look worn out. She is something like me. Her feelings are too much for her. But now she has come home, she shall find us as cheerful as possible. I can answer for myself. And you really must brighten up your doleful face, my dear. Nothing so bad for invalids as the appearance of depression in those around them. I've had such a pleasant letter from Cynthia today. Uncle Kirkpatrick really seems to make so much of her. And Mr. Henderson has been to call on her in spite of all that has gone before.
The illness which Mr. Gibson apprehended came upon Molly. There was nothing very decided or alarming to tell Cynthia, and Mrs. Gibson kept the dark side from her in her letters. But it so happened that Lady Harriet, who came whenever she could to sit a while with Molly, wrote to Cynthia.
Cynthia! Dear child, where have you come from? Why in the world have you come? My poor nerves, my heart is quite fluttering. But it is no wonder with all this anxiety I have to undergo.
I never knew. You've never told me how ill Molly was.
Nonsense. I beg your pardon, my dear, but it's really nonsense. Molly's illness is only nervous. Mr. Gibson says a nervous fever, and she's getting better. But who told you about Molly?
Lady Harriet. She wrote to me about my going...
You might have known she always exaggerates things. Not but that I have been almost worn out with nursing. Perhaps, after all, it is a very good thing that you have come, my dear. Now, draw up a chair and have something to eat. and tell me all about London. Your aunt? How is her cold? And Helen quite strong again? Margaretta as pretty as ever. The boys are at Harrow, I suppose. And what of my old favourite, Mr. Henderson?
My aunt is quite well. Helen is as strong as she ever is, and Margaret is very pretty. The boys are at Harrow, and I conclude that Mr. Henderson is enjoying his usual health, for he was to dine at my uncle's today.
Take care, Cynthia. Look how you are cutting that gooseberry tart. I can't think how you could have come home in this sudden kind of way. I am sure it must have annoyed your uncle and aunt. I dare say they'll never ask you again.
On the contrary, I'm to go back there as soon as ever I can be easy to leave Molly.
Easy to leave Molly? Now that really is nonsense and rather uncomplimentary to me, I must say. Nursing her, as I have been doing daily, and almost nightly, for I have been wakened times out of number by Mr. Gibson getting up and going to see her.
I'm afraid she's been very ill.
Yes, she has in one way, but not in another. It was what I call more a tedious than an interesting illness.
Do you think I might go and see her now?
Well, very well.
Molly's delight at seeing Cynthia showed itself first in a few happy tears. She had returned just at the right time when Molly wanted the gentle fillip of the society of a fresh and yet familiar person. And so Molly's health and spirits improved rapidly. And now it was late June, and to Molly's and her father's extreme urgency in pushing and Mr. and Mrs. Kirkpatrick's affectionate persistency in pulling, Cynthia had yielded and gone back to finish her interrupted visit in London. One morning, Mrs. Gibson brought Molly a great basket of flowers that had been sent from Hamley Hall.
Oh, these white pinks. They are Mrs. Hamley's favourite flower. And this sweetbriar. Oh, Mamma, look at this rose. I forget its name, but it is very rare. Roger brought the tree for his mother when he was quite a boy.
I dare say it was Roger who got it now. You heard Papa say he had seen him yesterday.
No, Roger? Roger home?
Yes. Oh, I remember you had gone to bed before Papa came in. Yes, Roger turned up at the hall the day before yesterday. Your Papa will tell you all about it.
And, well, that's how matters stand just at the moment.
I've been waiting all day to ask you all about everything. And how is he looking?
I should say he was taller, and he looks broader, stronger. And he's as brown as a berry, and he's got a beard.
A beard? Oh, but go on, Papa. Does he talk as he used to?
I didn't catch any Hottentot twang, if that's what you mean.
Tell me, how are they getting on together?
Oh, Roger is evidently putting everything to rights in his firm, quiet way.
Roger putting things to rights? Why, what is wrong? The squire and the French daughter-in-law don't get on well together, I suppose. I am always so glad Cynthia acted with the promptitude she did. It would have been very awkward for her to have been mixed up with all these complications. Poor Roger, to find himself supplanted by a child when he comes home.
You were not in the room, my dear, when I was telling Molly of the reasons for Roger's return. It was to put his brother's child at once into his rightful and legal place.
He is not much affected by Cynthia's breaking off her engagement. I never did give him credit for very deep feelings.
On the contrary, he feels it very acutely. We had a long talk about it yesterday.
And Mrs. Osborne Hamley, how is she?
Oh, wonderfully brightened up by Roger's presence.
I should think he would come and call upon us soon.
Do you think he will, Papa?
I can't tell, my dear. Until he's quite convinced of Cynthia's intentions, it can't be very pleasant for him to come on mere visits of ceremony. He's not as yet convinced that the letter wasn't written in a fit of temporary feeling.
Poor Cynthia. What has she exposed herself to by letting herself be over-persuaded by that man?
Oh, that man indeed.
I was so sorry to hear how ill you have been, Molly. You're looking somewhat delicate.
Oh, I'm quite strong now to what I was.
I have heard how deeply I am indebted to you. My father can hardly praise.
Please don't.
Indeed, my little sister-in-law is never weary of talking about Monsieur le Docteur, as she calls your husband, Mrs. Gibson.
I have not had the pleasure of making Mrs. Osborne Hamley's acquaintance yet. I must beg you to apologize to her for my remissness, but Molly has been such a care and anxiety to me. And then I understood that Mrs. Osborne Hamley was thinking of returning to France before long.
Oh, I am sure she will be glad to see any friends of the family as soon as she is a little stronger. I hope she will not go back to France. She is an orphan, and I trust we shall induce her to remain with my father, but at present nothing is arranged.
Mrs. Gibson had not given up her hopes of an engagement between Cynthia and Mr. Henderson. But when Cynthia returned to Hollingford, she would only say, in answer to her mother's anxious inquiries, that Mr. Henderson had not offered again.
Oh, it's enough to provoke a saint.
What is the matter, Mamma?
Never mind, Molly. Mamma is only vexed because I have not come back an engaged young lady.
Yes, and I am sure you might have done. There's the ingratitude.
But where's the ingratitude?
Why, don't you see we are doing all we can for you, dressing you well and sending you away to London? And when you might relieve us of the expense of all this, you don't.
No, Cynthia, I will speak. I am sure Papa does not mind any expense he incurs about his daughters, and I know quite well that he does not wish us to marry unless we love someone very dearly indeed.
Well, after this tirade, really rather indelicate, I must say, I have done. I will neither help nor hinder any love affairs of you two young ladies. In my days, we were glad of the advice of our elders.
Oh, dear. But I couldn't bear to hear her speak as if Papa grudged you anything.
I'm sure he doesn't. But I'm sorry Mamma still looks upon me as an encumbrance. I'm getting very much into despair about everything. Tell me, how's Mr. Preston?
Oh, he has taken Cumnor Grange and never comes into Hollingford now. I did see him once in the street, but it's a question of which of us tried the hardest to get out of the other's way.
You've not said anything about Roger yet?
No. I didn't know if you would care to hear.
I was in hopes he would have left the neighbourhood by this time. Mamma said he was going to travel again.
Oh, I can't tell. I suppose you know that he wishes to see you.
No, I never heard. I wish he could be satisfied with my letter.
Oh, but you must see him again. You owe it to him. He will never be satisfied without it.
Suppose he talks me round into resuming the engagement. I should only break it off again.
But surely you can't be talked round if your mind is made up. But perhaps it is not really.
It is quite made up. I am going to Moscow to teach little Russian girls, and I'm never going to marry anybody.
The next morning saw Mrs. Gibson in a much more contented frame of mind. She had written a letter to Mrs. Kirkpatrick, giving her version of Cynthia's unfortunate entanglement and delicate sense of honour, and hints of her entire indifference to all the masculine portion of the world, Mr. Henderson being dexterously excluded from the category. But it was so much labour lost. Cynthia had already received a letter from Mr. Henderson before she came down to breakfast.
I'm afraid our meals must seem very plain and homely to you. Cynthia, I said, I am afraid our meals must seem very... Why? What is the matter?
Mamma, I expect Mr. Henderson will come and call this morning.
My precious child, how do you know?
I've had a letter from him, and he's coming down today.
But has he offered? Well, has he?
Yes, I suppose he has.
And you accept him? Say yes, and make me happy.
I shan't say yes to make anyone happy except myself.
Oh, but don't you think you'd better go upstairs at once and put on that pretty lilac silk?
Mr. Roger Hamley. Oh, Roger, how nice to see you.
I have come to speak to Cynthia, Molly. It is time I...
She's in the garden, but... shall I fetch her for you?
Who is that with her? Molly, tell me, is it too late for me to speak to Cynthia? I came on a purpose. Tell me, Molly, who is that man?
It is Mr. Henderson. He only came today. Roger, forgive me the pain, but now he is her accepted lover.
Molly. Molly.
Shall I tell her you wish to talk with her?
No. Tell her I have been and gone. Send out word to her. Don't let her be interrupted.
Oh, Roger.
In the evening, Mr. Henderson came again. Molly, who had been very curious to see him close to, was not sure whether she liked him or not. He was handsome, he talked easily, he was perfectly well appointed. But he wanted something in Molly's eyes.
There you are, my dear. Such excitement. Well, and how do you like the new relation that is to be?
It is difficult to say. I think he is very nice in all his bits, but rather dull on the whole.
Well, I think him perfection. I don't wonder she preferred him to Roger Hamley. Such sense, such gloves, and then his hair.
Oh, now, Papa, you're not fair. He is a deal more than that, and he's very much attached to Cynthia.
So is Roger. However, I shall only be too glad to have her married. As I was saying to Roger this afternoon,
how is he?
I don't suppose he'd be going through the pleasantest thing in the world. But he'll be over it before long. He's had 3 months to think it over, remember. The squire, however, is boiling over that anyone should reject his son. The enormity of the sin never seems to have been apparent to him till now, when he sees how Roger is affected by it.
Molly! Papa! Such news! Mr. Henderson wants to marry me next week.
Well, he certainly is an impatient lover.
But next week? Well, next week, the week after, at any rate before the long vacation, so that we can go abroad at once.
Well. Then you may as well have this at once. There. That's to pay your expenses to Russia and back. And I hope your pupils are obedient.
£100? Oh, Papa! Oh, you're the kindest person I know. And I don't know how to thank you.
If you tumble my shirt collars again in that way, I'll charge you for the washing. Just now, too, when I'm trying so hard to be trim and elegant, just like your Mr. Henderson.
Oh, but you do like him, don't you? He does so like you.
Oh, of course. Well, all angels just now. I hope he'll wear as well as Roger.
That was a very silly affair. We were two as unsuitable people as
it
you
has ended, and that's enough.
The whole town of Hollingford came to congratulate and to inquire into the particulars of Cynthia's engagement. Some, indeed, Mrs. Goodenough at the head of this class of malcontents, thought that they were defrauded of their right to a fine show by Cynthia's being married in London. Even Lady Cumnor was moved into action.
Oh, my dear Lady Cumnor, Lady Harriet, how simply charming of you to call. Please do be seated.
I have been taking Mary, Lady Cuxhaven, to the railway station, and I thought I would come on here and offer you my congratulations. Well, Cynthia, I did not think it would be amiss to give you a little advice. I have heard a good deal about you, and I am truly rejoiced to hear that you are going to make so creditable a marriage. I hope it will efface your former errors of conduct, which we will hope were but trivial in reality. But you must conduct yourself with discretion in whatever state of life it pleases God to place you, whether married or single. Look up to your husband and do nothing without consulting him. Keep strict accounts and remember your station in life. I understand that Mr. Henderson is in the law. Although there is a general prejudice against attorneys, I have known 2 or 3 who are very respectable men, and I am sure Mr. is one.
Mr. Henderson is a barrister at law.
Oh, yes. Attorney at law, barrister at law. When you have been a little in society, you will find that it is reckoned bad manners to interrupt. I had a great deal more to say to you, and you put it all out of my head. There was something your father wanted me to ask, Harriet.
You mean about Mr. Hamley?
Oh, yes. We are intending to have a house full of Lord Hollingford's friends, and Lord Cumnor is particularly anxious to secure Mr. Hamley, the famous traveller. But when we asked him before, he declined. I believe Mr. Gibson is very intimate with Mr. Hamley. Do you think he could induce him to favour us with his company?
Oh, I am sure Mr. Gibson will do his best for you, Lady Cumnor.
Thank you. You know me well enough to be aware that I am not the person to go about soliciting guests. But in this instance, I bend my head.
Besides, Mamma, Papa was saying that the Hamleys have been on their land since the Conquest, while we came into the county only a century ago. And there is a tale that the first Lord Cumnor began his fortune through selling tobacco.
Really?
And if Lady Cumnor did not exactly shift her trumpet and take snuff there on the spot, she behaved in an equivalent manner. Nevertheless, she prepared a handsome present for the bride, a Bible and a prayer book bound in velvet with silver clasps, and also a collection of household account books which Lady Harriet was charged to deliver.
My dear, what is the matter? Why have you got on that woebegone face? This marriage isn't broken off, is it?
Oh, no, that's all right. But I've got a fresh cold, and Papa says he thinks I'd better not go to the wedding.
Poor little one. And it's the first visit to London, too.
Yes, but what I care for is not being with Cynthia to the last. And then Papa has so looked forward to this holiday, and now he says he should not be comfortable to leave me all alone.
My dear Lady Harriet, how kind you are. I see this unfortunate child has been telling you of her ill luck. I am sure I shan't be able to enjoy myself, and at my only child's wedding too, without you, Molly. No, I would rather sacrifice anything myself than think of you uncared for and dismal at home.
I'm sure Molly is as sorry as anyone.
No, I don't think she is, or she would not have sat with her back to the open window the day before yesterday. Oh, poor Mr. Gibson.
Now, Claire, you and I can manage it all. Mr. Gibson shall go to London to the wedding, and I shall carry Molly off to the Towers as my guest.
Oh, I could not go. I should only be a trouble to everybody.
Nobody asked for your opinion, little one. You must submit in silence.
What a charming plan. I cannot think of anything kinder or more pleasant for this poor darling.
And so Molly was driven off in state the next day, leaving her own home all in confusion, with the assemblage of boxes and trunks in the hall, and all the other symptoms of the approaching departure of the family for London and the wedding.
And do remember not to sit with your back towards open windows, my dear.
Yes, Mamma. Goodbye, Cynthia. I hope that you will be happy.
Oh, Molly, I'm so sad that you may not be with us in London. Now, I'm not going to thank you or tell you how I love you.
Oh, no, don't. I can't bear it.
Only you know you are to be my first visitor. And if you wear brown ribbons to a green gown, I shall turn you out of the house.
I think it's time we were going, Molly.
Yes, of course. Oh, Papa. Goodbye, Papa.
Goodbye, my dear. Take care. Think of us on Thursday. I declare, I don't know which of her three lovers she mayn't summon up at the very last moment to act as bridegroom. I'm determined to be surprised at nothing, and will give her away with a good grace to whoever comes.
On Thursday, Cynthia's wedding day, it was bright and fine in the country, whatever it might be in London. Lady Harriet had told Molly that some visitors were expected, but she had not mentioned their names. And when Molly went down into the drawing-room, she was almost startled by perceiving Roger Hamley.
Miss Gibson, what an unexpected pleasure. It seems so long since I saw you. I've a message from my father to give you. He is very angry with you. He heard that you had come here for a change of air and was offended that you hadn't come to us, to the hall.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But will you please tell him how it all happened? Lady Harriet called the very day when it was settled that I was not to go to Cynthia's... to go to London.
But why can you not come on to the hall when you leave here?
Oh, I should like it very much, sometime, but I must go home first.
Ah, yes, of course. You must be of double importance now that Miss Kirkpatrick has left you. Still, I think I must urge my father's claim for a short visit. Besides, Molly, I think you could help us at home. M.A. is shy and awkward with my father, and he has never taken quite kindly to her. If someone could but bring them together before I leave, it would be such a comfort to me. I am going again in September for 6 months.
Oh, but I fancied... you seem to have settled down into the old way at the hall.
So my father appears to think. But it is not likely that I shall ever make it my home again. And that is partly the reason why I want my father to adopt the notion of M.A.'s living with him. Oh, but here are all the people coming back from their walk. However, I shall see you again, for I have a great deal to consult you about.
Don't you think that your pattern young man and my favourite young woman are finding out each other's good qualities? Look there, along the avenue.
Oh, yes, Mr. Hamley. Is it not Miss Gibson? Can't quite make out. Yeah. If you're letting your fancy run off in that direction, I can tell you it's quite a waste of time. Roger Hamley is a man who will soon have a European reputation.
That's very possible, yet it doesn't make any difference, in my opinion.
No.
Molly Gibson is capable of appreciating him.
She is a very pretty, good little country girl. I don't mean to say anything against her, but I...
Remember the charity ball?
Yes.
You called her unusually intelligent then, Hollingford?
But Hamley is not a marrying man. I know that he has very little private fortune. I know that science is not a remunerative profession, and
if that's all. 100 things may happen. Someone may leave him a fortune, or this tiresome little heir that nobody wanted may die.
Oh, Harriet, that is the worst of allowing yourself to plan ahead for the future. You're sure to contemplate the death of someone and reckon upon the contingency of affecting events.
As if lawyers were not always doing something of the kind.
Leave it to those to whom it is necessary. I dislike planning marriages or looking forward to deaths about equally.
You are getting very prosaic and tiresome, Hollingford. Only remember my prophecy when my vision comes to pass.
The next day, Molly went home. She had gained health. She had had pleasure. The faint fragrance of a new and unacknowledged hope had stolen into her life.
Ah, Molly, how delightful to have you home again. And it's really wonderful to see what a little good society will do for a girl. Even a few days of association with the aristocracy. And with all her charms, it was what my darling Cynthia wanted. And not that Mr. Henderson thought so, for a more devoted lover can hardly be conceived. He absolutely bought her a parure of diamonds. But you never told me who you met at the Towers.
Well, Roger Hamley was there.
Upon my word, that young man is pushing his way up.
The Hamleys are a far older family than the Cumleys.
No, Molly, I can't have you democratic. Rank is a great distinction. But we won't begin to quarrel. Roger Hamley did not say much about that unfortunate little Osborne Hamley, I suppose?
On the contrary, he says his father dotes on the child.
I thought the squire must be getting very much infatuated with something. I dare say the French mother takes care of that. Why, he has scarcely taken any notice of you for this month or more. Before that you were everything.
The squire has sent me an invitation to go and stay there next week, if you have no objection, Mamma. They seem to want a companion for Mrs. Osborne Hamley, who is not very strong.
I can hardly tell what to say. I don't like your having to associate with a French woman of doubtful rank. But the house is going to be altered, and Maria wants a week's holiday, so it certainly would be convenient to have you out of the house for a little while. So I will waive my own wish for your companionship and plead your cause with Papa.
Molly's visit to Hamley Hall would no doubt have been a happier one had she not chanced to overhear a remark by old Mrs. Goodenough to the effect that Mrs. Gibson had deliberately sent her on the visit now that Roger Hamley might inherit the estate. This remark deeply worried Molly.
Well, and so you can come here a-visiting, though you have been among the grand folks. I thought you were going to cut us when I heard you was gone to the Towers. Couldn't find any other place to stay but an earl's, eh?
They asked me, and I went. Now you asked me, and I've come here.
I think you might have known you'd always be welcome here without waiting for asking. Why, I look upon you as a kind of daughter. More than madam there. Oh, you needn't look at me so pitifully. She doesn't follow English so readily.
But I think she does.
He's a sturdy chap, isn't he? And he can puff 4 puffs at grandfather's pipe without being sick.
No.
Hey, lad.
No.
That's just like her. As if he could do the child any harm. Well, well, Molly, my dear. You stay here and converse with her. I'll go and find Roger. I thought I might find you here, my lad. It's time you got out into the fresh air. Books. There never was a thing like 'em for stealing a man's health out of it.
Father, you do remember I am going out to Africa next month.
I thought maybe you'd forgotten all about it. Well, they might have found another man to finish up your work.
No one can finish but myself. Besides, an engagement is an engagement. When I wrote to Lord Hollingford to tell him I meant to come home, I promised to go out again for another 6 months.
I know. And perhaps it will put it out of your mind.
If you are alluding to Miss Kirkpatrick... Mrs. Henderson, I mean, Father, let me tell you, once and for all, I think that was rather a hasty affair. I'm pretty sure now that we were not suited to each other.
That's right. That's my boy. I was not so bad about it, was I? Poor Osborne needn't have been so secret with me. My bark is worse than my bite. For if I had a wish on earth, it was to see Osborne married as befitted one of the old stock. And he went and chose out this French girl of no family at all.
Never mind what she was. Look at what she is. I wonder you're not more taken with her humility and her sweetness, Father.
I don't even call her pretty. Now, your Miss Cynthia was pretty. I will say that for the baggage. And to think when you two lads flew right in your father's face and picked out girls below you in rank, you should neither of you have set your fancies on my little Molly. Why, I don't see why you mightn't put up for her still.
No, it is too late. Don't let us talk any more about my marrying.
On Molly's last morning at the Hall, she received her first letter from Cynthia. She had just finished reading it when the squire came in, and immediately and joyfully she told him what the morning had brought to her. But when she saw the squire's face, she could have bitten her tongue.
I wish I might never hear of her again. She's been the bane of my Roger. I haven't slept half the night, and it's her fault. Why, there's my boy saying now that he's no heart for ever marrying, poor lad. I wish it had been you, Molly. I told Roger so. Well, there's no use. It's too late now. Much too late.
Oh, dear. First Mrs. Goodenough, and now this. Oh, I am more glad than I can say to be returning home today.
Look, Molly, I gathered these flowers for you.
You are very kind. I am much obliged to you.
Then you must do something for me. Tell me honestly, have I done something to vex you since we were so happy at the Towers together?
No, you have never vexed me in my whole life, Roger.
I believe you. Molly, will you give me back one of those flowers as a pledge of what you have said? No, you must choose.
The carriage is at the door, Molly.
Oh, please, Squire, which is Roger's favourite flower?
A rose, I dare say.
Here is a rose, Roger.
Thank you.
I'm afraid the little babby is beginning some kind of fever.
Oh, I will tell Papa as soon as I get home.
Do tell me something about your visit, Molly. Is Roger very heartbroken? Does he talk much about Cynthia?
No, he doesn't mention her often.
I never thought he had much feeling. So, Roger has quite forgotten Cynthia, has he? Oh, what inconsistent creatures men are. He will be falling in love with some grandee next, mark my words.
No, Roger is too sensible for anything of that
yes,
kind.
sensible and cold-hearted. Give me warmth of heart. Poor Mr. Kirkpatrick. I used to tell him that his love for me was quite romantic. I think I have told you about his walking 5 miles in the rain to get me a muffin once when I was ill.
Yes, it was very kind of him.
So imprudent, too. Just what one of your sensible, cold-hearted, commonplace people would never have thought of doing. With his cough and all.
I hope he didn't suffer for it.
Yes, indeed he did. I don't think he ever got over the cold he caught that day. Poor dear Mr. Kirkpatrick.
I wonder how that poor little boy is.
Poor little child. When one thinks how little his prolonged existence is to be desired, one feels that his death would be a boon.
Mamma!
I should have thought the squire would have desired a better-born heir than the offspring of a servant.
My dear, Molly.
How is little Osborne, Papa?
He's beginning with the scarlet fever, I'm afraid. It's as well you left when you did, Molly.
Will he have it badly?
I can't tell. I shall do my best for the laddie. But, as the country people say, I've done a stroke of work today. Roger Hamley and I have laid our heads together and we've made a plan by which Mrs. Osborne and her boy will leave the Hall.
There, what did I tell you, Molly?
And go into lodgings at Jennings Farm, not 400 yards from the Parkfield gate. The squire and his daughter-in-law have got to be much better friends over the little fellow's sickbed, and I think he sees now how impossible it would be for the mother to leave her child and go back to France. Yes, I think I've done a good day's work.
But Mr. Gibson had not told Molly all that had passed between him and Roger. Roger had begun a fresh subject of conversation just as Mr. Gibson was leaving the Hall.
Mr. Gibson, you know that I set off next Tuesday, don't you?
Of course, and I hope you'll be successful.
Should you be afraid of seeing me at your house this week?
Well, thank you, but I think I'd rather decline the pleasure of your society at present. With scarlet fever, you never can tell.
Then I shall not see Molly again. You will take a message to her from me, won't you? A message of farewell.
Not I. I'm not going to be a message carrier between any young man and a young woman. I'll tell my womenfolk I forbade you to come near the house and that you're sorry to go away without bidding goodbye.
But you do not disapprove. I see you guess why. Oh, Mr. Gibson, just speak to me one word of what must be in your heart, though you're pretending not to understand why I would give worlds to see Molly again before I go.
My dear boy, Mind, Molly is not Cynthia. If she were to care for you, she is not one who could transfer her love to the next comer.
You mean not as readily as I have done?
I wasn't thinking of you when I spoke. But, however, as I might have remembered, you are not a model of constancy. Well, let us hear what you've got to say for yourself.
Not much. I did love Cynthia. Her manners and her beauty bewitched me. But her letters, short, hurried letters, sometimes showing that she really hadn't taken the trouble to read mine through. I cannot tell you the pain they gave me. Still, I long for the time when I could see her again. Then that letter from her, and still I hoped. But then, when I went to have the interview, which I trusted might end in the renewal of our relations, I can still see the pitying look in Molly's eyes. Oh, Mr. Gibson, tell me truly, do you think that Molly, after seeing and knowing that I loved a person so inferior to herself, could ever be brought to listen to me?
I don't know. I can't tell. Only if it's any comfort to you, I may say that my experience has taught me that that women are queer, unreasoning creatures.
Thank you, sir. I see you mean to give me encouragement, and I had resolved never to give Molly a hint of what I felt until I returned.
Now, Roger, I've listened to you long enough. If you've nothing better to do with your time than to talk about my daughter, I have. And when you come back, it will be time enough to inquire how far your father would approve of such an engagement.
Oh, he himself urged it upon me the other day. But then I was in despair. I thought it was too late.
And what means are you likely to have of maintaining a wife? I always thought that point was passed over too lightly when you formed your hurried engagement to Cynthia. Well, still, it is but fair to say to you that I'd rather give my child to you than to any man in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. But may I see her just once before I go?
Decidedly not. There I come in as doctor as well as father. No.
But you will take a message at any rate.
To my wife and my daughter conjointly.
Very well. Tell them both as strongly as you can how I regret your prohibition. I see I must submit. But if I don't come back, I'll haunt you for having been so cruel.
Come, I like that. Give me a wise man of science in love. No one beats him in folly. Well, goodbye.
Mr. Gibson gave Roger's message to his wife and to Molly that evening at dinner. It was but what the latter had expected after all her father had said of the very great danger of infection. But now that her expectation came in the shape of a final decision, it took away her appetite.
Well, well. Lover versus father. Lover wins, it seems.
The day of Roger's departure came. Molly tried hard to forget it in working away at a cushion she was preparing as a present for Cynthia. It was a rainy day, and Mrs. Gibson, who had planned to go out, had to stay indoors. This made her restless, and she kept going backwards and forwards to different windows in the drawing-room to look at the weather, as if she imagined that while it rained at one window, it might be fine weather at another.
Molly, come here. Who is that man wrapped up in a cloak?
Man? Where, Mamma?
There, near the park wall, under the beech tree. He has been there this half hour or more, and is looking at this house all the time. I think it is very suspicious.
Why, Mamma, it is Roger Hamley. Oh, look now. He's kissing his hands. He's wishing us goodbye in the only way he can.
Oh, so it is. Oh, goodbye. Goodbye, Mr. Hamley. Oh, I call this so attentive of him. Wave, Molly, wave. Really, it is quite romantic. It reminds me of my former days when dear Mr. Kirkpatrick...
At length, Roger went away, slowly, slowly. Molly quietly moved into her place to see his figure once more before the turn of the road hid it from her view. He turned once more, and his white handkerchief floated in the air. Molly waved hers high up with eager longing that it should be seen. And then he was gone. And Molly returned to her work, happy, glowing, sad, content, and thinking to herself,
"Oh, how sweet is friendship."
Here the story is broken off, and it can never be finished. What promised to be the crowning work of Mrs. Gaskell's life is a memorial of death. But if the work is not complete, little remains to be added to it. We know that Roger Hamley will marry Molly, and that is what we are most concerned about. Indeed, there was little else to tell.
In the final episode of Elizabeth Gaskell's Wives and Daughters, dramatised by Barry Campbell, the part of Molly was played by Kathryn Hurlbutt, Claire, Angela Pleasance, Mr. Gibson, Tom Wilkinson, Cynthia, Anne-Louise Lambert, Squire Hamley, Robert Lang, Roger, Michael Troughton, Lady Harriet, Marion Diamond, Lady Cumnor, Pauline Letts, Lord Hollingford, Geoffrey Collins, with Eileen Tully and Nigel Graham, and Thelma Whiteley was Mrs. Gaskell. Technical presentation of the serial was by Tim Sturgeon and Richard Beadsmore, assisted by Sarah Rosewarne, David Chilton, Vanessa Elner, and Tim Robinson. The music was composed by Rachel Portman, and the director was Jane Morgan.